Good morning. For this week of our devotions, I would like for us to look at people who have had an encounter with Christ. The first one we're going to look at is found in John chapter 4, the story of the Samaritan woman and her encounter with Jesus at the side of a well on a hot afternoon. In verse 6 of John chapter 4 we read, Jesus, tired as he was from the long walk, sat wearily beside the well about noontime. Soon a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Please give me a drink." She was surprised and says to him, "You're a Jew, and I'm a Samaritan woman. Why are you asking me for a drink? For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans." Jesus then gently, step by step, leads her into a spiritual discussion comparing the water in the well to the living water of faith. Jesus gets right to the point with her, right to her heart. She tries to change the subject by talking about where they are to worship, but Jesus directed her to a much more important point. The location of worship is not nearly as important as the attitude of the worshiper. As I read the 25th verse of this chapter, I picture this woman as she is speaking to him. She is watching his eyes, his face, and she says slowly, and I would think perhaps almost hesitatingly, "I know the Messiah is coming, the one who is called the Christ, and when he comes, he will explain everything to us." And as she finishes, Jesus looks at her and says in verse 26, "I that speak to you am he." What a moment. I would love to have been there to see the look on her face. You see, it was women who were having such a hard life, hardly ever noticed, not recognized until Jesus comes along, and he chose to share some of his most precious announcements with women. We are told that she left her water pot and ran into the village to share with whoever would listen to her what she had just been told. And so they came. They believed what she had to say, and they wanted him to stay with them longer. Well, I had to wonder what the conversations were like the next day at the well by the women who gathered there if they had heard her story. Because you see, this was a clearer revelation of himself than he had granted to anyone as yet. And it was to someone who most would not have given the time of day. Something to think about. We need to ask ourselves, today are people being attracted to Jesus because of my life and my testimony? Someone said to me years ago, and I never forgot it, if I continue on as I am at this moment, will my life encourage others to have faith in God? Please pray with me. Lord, we thank you for coming to each one of us at our point of need and revealing yourself to us. Be near each of us this day and our loved ones. Keep us safe and in your care. Amen.